This new update changes everything with Black Ops 7 multiplayer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the new dev talk that they dropped. It's about 4.5 minutes of a bunch of different changes made from Black Ops 7 beta to the launch. I mean, some of these are things I mentioned in my Black Ops 7 is garbage video, so to see these actually changed is huge. I genuinely think that many of these changes are going to change the way Black Ops 7 is played going forward. Before we get any further, do yourselves a favor and click that thumbs up button for some good luck in your next game of Call of Duty, and make sure you guys subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss out on my future Black Ops 7 videos dropping in the next few weeks here. For some reason, this 4.5 minute dev talk video is not even on their YouTube channel. This is over on the official Treyarch Twitter. So let's see what they got to say and see all the changes that they made here. 4.5 minutes.
Hey everyone, Matt Schrontz, design director at Treyarch, back again to talk about some updates for multiplayer in Black Ops 7. Okay, so the first topic I want to touch on is the whole aim down sights, ADS, while sliding, diving, wall jumping topic. So in the beta, that did require you to take the dexterity perk. The team looked at all of our options and ultimately landed on providing the most fluid experience by default, which does mean we've reintroduced the ability to aim down sights while sliding, diving, and wall jumping by default. You do not need to take the dexterity.
We are 34 seconds in, and for me personally, I think that might have been my personal biggest complaint, was that dexterity was a crutch. So in order to, slide and aim down sights, or dive and aim down sights, wall jumping or bouncing and aiming down sights, you needed dexterity, or you couldn't ADS when doing any of those movements. That was my biggest issue with Black Ops 7, and I am so glad to hear this. I'm honestly really interested in what dexterity is going to do now, because they don't mention this video, but who knows? I hope it's still a beneficial perk.
Dexterity will still speed up those interactions, sprint to fire, slide to fire, but you will not need dexterity perk to ADS while doing those actions. The next one I want to touch on is just to reconfirm a topic I touched on in our last dev update about footstep volume. We have slightly increased the volume of our footsteps in multiplayer. We're very happy with where they're at, where it's going to incentivize more stealth play styles without over-indexing on the need for the ninja perk.
Okay, so the footstep audio, honestly, I thought it was actually really, really good. I think the issue was those super loud cluster grenades when people would call in the raps. There was just so much other outside noise going on where you could barely even hear it. But when things were kind of quieter at some moments in the games, you could definitely hear footsteps. So them increasing this, you're definitely gonna be heard if you do not have Ninja on.
Okay, next I want to touch on where we've landed with our slide tuning coming out of the beta for launch.
All right, so before he talks about the slide tuning, for me personally, just keep this in mind. We'll be like a minute in. I think this might be, I guess, quote unquote, the biggest L out of the 4.5 minutes here. I'm not happy with what he's gonna say here, but just keep in mind that this is the most negative thing that he will say in this dev talk.
Alongside that dexterity change and the ADS change, we have slowed down the slide speed a bit and we reduced the distance a bit, but I promise you, it still feels great. It still feels fluid.
Man. I thought it was perfect.
We want to make sure that that's not the only way you can enter in.
Loved how fast it was.
Okay, another movement topic I want to touch on are our mantles. So we saw the feedback, we agree. Some of the mantles felt a little slow, so the team is going through every single mantle in the game to make sure that we have a consistent speed and fill, and everything feels fast and fluid.
Yeah, those mantle speeds were so egregious. I don't understand why that pull-up mechanic is still in the game. That needs to just be, I should be able to turn that off, because I just hate doing that. If you're someone in the window and you climb and hit that, you're done. Your weapon's just not up and ready. But I'm glad to hear that they're increasing the speeds. Again, that sliding thing where they decrease a little bit, that's a big as hell. And even then, he said it's still fluid, it feels good. That's all I care about.
The next one is a meaty topic,
W movement,
and it's about our perks and our perk distribution.
It's probably the biggest change from this dev talk here.
We made some changes ahead of beta coming out of our blog. A lot of you had a lot of feedback on that, which we appreciate. But the big changes that we're going to focus on here for launch are, one, we want to make sure that we are incentivizing and allowing for varied play styles. Two, we saw a lot of feedback on how stacked slot 1 was, so we've made some adjustments there that I think you're going to be happy with. And then 3, there were some kind of niche underutilized perks, so we've actually made some combinations of perks to make those chunky decisions and choices.
So he's going to name off a bunch of perks that are now merged together. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a better visual representation once this is over, because for me, I'm a visual learner. When he was saying all this, I was like, okay, cool. When I actually saw it all laid out in front of me, I was like, all right, that's pretty nice. So I'll let him name them all off here.
Okay, let's get into the details. First change, we've actually moved tech mask to slot 2 from slot 1. That's going to allow for classes like Flak Jacket, Tech Mask, and Guardian for a very strong support tanky class. We've moved Tac Sprinter to slot 1 from slot 3, Looper to slot 3 from slot 2, and that's going to let you loop your score streaks. Cold-Blooded is going to slot 3 from slot 1, and that's going to allow for full stealth classes like Ghost, Ninja, and Cold-Blooded, with a wild card, of course. Scavenger is going back to slot 2 from slot 1. And then we'll start getting into the combinations of those underutilized perks that I touched on. So first up, Shadow, which allows you to move by.
Okay, so he just set up a whole bunch of perks, move left to right and right to left. So again, we'll have a breakdown a little bit later. And now he's going to tell us about all the perks that are merged together. So some of these perks you see here aren't going to be here anymore because they're merged with a different one.
Traps without setting them off has been added to Engineer.
So Engineer and Shadow are now one
perk. You can actually see
under the Engineer
perk through the world and then also approach it and not set those traps off. Vendetta, which allows you to see the location of your previous killer, has been added to Assassin. So if you really want to target a single player on the enemy team, this is going to be your perk. So one for our melee players, we've actually added Bruiser, which gives you increased health regen and score for melee kills to Close Shave. So if you want to go all in on that melee playstyle, this is going to be the perk for you. Hunter's Instinct, which gives you intel on a nearby enemy after a kill, has been added to Tracker. So that's all about tracking your enemy locations.
I'm a big fan of Hunter's Instinct. So now that and Tracker together, that's going to be OP.
And then one that I'm super excited about, we've actually added Quartermaster, which recharges your equipment to Gearhead, and that has moved to slot 1. And if you're all about the gadgets, or if you're all about the field upgrades and the equipment, this is going to be the perk for you. So with all of these changes to our perks, the team is very excited. We think you'll be very excited. And of course, we're very much looking forward to your feedback. Okay, next up, I want to touch on what we're doing with Aim Assist in Black Ops 7. So first off, we're looking very closely at the data, and the data says that controller players are winning slightly more in close range engagements, and then keyboard mouse players are winning slightly more in those long range engagements. So what we're going to do here is to try to close that gap, take a very close look at the strength of Aim Assist across all of those ranges. And then additionally, we are looking at rotational Aim Assist and the requirement for your right aim stick to be moving in the direction of your target. We'll have more concrete details to share soon. That's my time for today. Of course, we have more details coming on maps, modes, weapons, and progression as we head into launch.
Yeah, so maps, progression, and weapons. We'll hear something about that in the future. Here, the better look at the changes made to the perk. So Shadow and Engineer are now one single perk under Engineer. So now if you want the explosives to be delayed, so when you run over them, they don't go off immediately, you run Engineer because Shadow's now in there. Vendetta and Assassin's OP. I mean, if you're hunting one dude down, you just put Assassin on. Insane. They put Bruiser with Close Shave. I love Bruiser in Black Ops 6 when I'm going for like camos or something. So now for those to be together, that's a game changer because Close Shave allows you to just hit your melee weapon and you're hitting them with your actual melee rather than the butt of your gun, which is great. Hunter's Instinct, I love this perk a lot. I use this all the time on BO6. So now that's going to be a tracker. I mean, seriously, you're going to be able to pinpoint where enemies are at now with that. And then Quartermaster is now with the Gearhead, which is kind of crazy. So now you get 2 field upgrades and the ability to get your lethals and tacticals back over time, which is really, really sick. Right here, we'll have a blog on socials as they head into launch regarding maps, modes, weapons, and progression. So there's a little bit more of a breakdown. Again, I don't know why they dropped this over on their Twitter page more than anything. Huge changes in my opinion. Again, louder footsteps, great. So that's nice. The new sliding is like kind of an L in my opinion. Like, yeah, the sliding was fine. We could have left it alone. Faster mantle speeds definitely needed. They gave us, dexterity by default pretty much, which is what a lot of people were asking for. The new perk combinations, in my opinion, overall, massive W. I think the only complaint I personally have left was the time to kill. I think they addressed literally everything I personally complained about. I would like to see the TTK adjusted. I thought it was lightning quick, way too quick, and I have yet to see them address it. Maybe they have, and I just didn't see it. After that, I mean, I would seriously need to be nitpicking to find an actual issue with Black Ops 7. I'm genuinely really looking forward to it. Let me know in the comments down below what you think needs to be changed after everything you've heard already. Is there anything else that they could do to make this game even better? They already announced that the open mosh pit or the no SBMM mode is going to be the new matchmaking going forward in BO7. It's like I genuinely can't think of another thing to complain about besides that time to kill. I thought it was way too quick. I really hope they kind of tone that down a little bit, or you're just going to be posted up in ADS like 24/7. But I think that's gonna wrap today's video. I think this dev talk honestly changes a lot with perks moving all over the place, merging the perks, aim assist getting nerfed, mantling getting buffed, flatting slight little nerf. Listen, and this is just a little bit of it. There's gonna be a lot more dropping in the next few weeks here, so I'll definitely be covering that. But subscribe to today's video, give me your guys' thoughts and opinions on this dev talk here, and I'll see you on the next one. You guys all stay safe. Have a great day tomorrow. Doses.